Hello, my name is Margot Guion, and I am the Director of Prevention Services at First Call Alcohol, Drug Prevention and Recovery. Today, I'm going to talk to you about risk and protective factors for substance use and other mental health problems among youth. But before we dive into risk and protective factors, it is crucial to keep in mind that adolescence is a time of emotional development and emotional vulnerability. During this time, there are already things going on that may look like a mental health problem, but are really just signs of typical adolescence. I am going to go over some things that teenagers are experiencing naturally, whether they have a mental health problem or not. Physical changes that adolescents typically go through include changes in hormones and increases in height and weight. This is typically accompanied by an increase in concern about physical appearance, forming own beliefs, and questioning authority. Some emotional changes that teens may experience include shifts in mood quickly, experiencing feelings more intensely, and increase in risk-taking and impulsive behavior. Socially, you may find that your teen is experimenting with different levels of social and cultural identity. They are being more influenced by their peers, they have more of an awareness of their sexual identity, and they are learning how to manage relationships. While we may not like some of these patterns, we have to remember that most teens are experiencing them, and it does not necessarily mean that there is a problem. Now that I have talked a little bit about what typical adolescence looks like, I am going to describe some behaviors and characteristics that may be associated with a developing mental health problem. Some emotional changes to look out for include depressed mood or mood swings, unrealistic or excessive anxiety, excessive irritability or anger. Key word there is excessive, as everyone experiences anxiety and anger from time to time. Lack of emotion, hopelessness, oversensitivity to comments or criticism, and low self-esteem. Behavioral changes that could be a sign of a mental health problem include crying spells, withdrawal from others, inability to manage responsibility, disinterest in physical appearance, loss of motivation, use of drugs and alcohol, changes in energy, obsessive behavior, avoidance, and talking fast. Lastly, some thoughts that may be a sign of your teen experiencing a mental health problem include frequent self-criticism. This could then lead to not eating enough or overeating, pessimism, difficulty making decisions or concentrating, racing thoughts, delusions or hallucinations, odd ideas, lack of insight, and suspiciousness. After hearing all of those changes to be on the lookout for, it is easy and natural to fall into a state of worry or fear. However, as I mentioned before, a lot of these signs and symptoms look very similar to typical adolescent development. So before worrying, look again to see if several of these signs and symptoms are happening at the same time. Another thing to pay attention to is whether or not the behaviors are affecting your child's ability to engage in school, social settings, and daily activities. While we know that anyone can be impacted by substance use disorder, these are some factors that contribute to whether someone may become a substance user themselves. Some risk and protective factors are fixed, meaning they do not change over time. Other risk and protective factors are considered variable and can change over time. These variable factors include income level, peer group, adverse childhood experiences, and employment status. Some risk and protective factors can be considered to be individual level. For example, individual level risk factors may include a person's genetic predisposition to substance use or exposure to substances prenatally, and some individual level protective factors may include positive self-image, self-control, or social competence. It is important to remember that everyone has characteristics that may make them vulnerable to potential behavioral health issues, but everyone also has characteristics that make them more resilient in the face of those same issues. Risk and protective factors can exist in relationships, communities, and in society as a whole. When looking at communities, neighborhood violence and poverty is a risk factor. On the other hand, though, the availability of faith-based resources and after-school activities in the community are protective factors. The most powerful protective factor is feeling close to at least one adult. And I hate to say this to parents, but it is important for parents to know that the trusted adult may not be you, and that is okay. This person may be a parent, teacher, faith or spiritual leader, coach, or someone else, and whomever that adult is, it is important for them to build a child's assets rather than focus on their weaknesses or challenges. Being a trusted adult means having a developmental relationship with a child. Developmental relationships are close connections that help young people discover who they are, cultivate abilities to shape their own lives, and learn how to engage and contribute to this world around them. There are many ways that an adult can build developmental relationships with young people. If you would like to see the entire list of risk and protective factors, you can click the PDF also included on this website. Lastly, I want all of you to understand that children are resilient. Most youth pass through adolescence without any difficulty and thrive in difficult situations. It is important for us adults to give them the benefit of the doubt. Thank you so much for watching today, and please feel free to reach out to myself or your building counselor or social worker if you would like additional support.